Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe we have one of the most cozy, vibey, autumnal corners of the internet. So if this reading helps you out, it guides you, and it gives you some clarity, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like and join the pumpkin patch. So my beautiful pumpkins, first and foremost, I want to say right in the beginning of this video that this video is sponsored by yours truly. The Kloee Taylor is sponsoring her own video because yes, I can do that. And this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon. So my Patreon is an amazing community where you can come and get not only extra pick-a-cards that I put out, but weekly energetic updates with tarot and astrology knowledge when it applies. And I also do community nights. We've been doing a lot of like manifestation based things over 2022 is what we worked on. This year, I'm not exactly sure if there's going to be a theme or if we're just going to be introducing all kinds of different community nights. I know something that is currently in the works that even the Patreon doesn't know about just yet, at least at the time of this being filmed, is that we are potentially going to be hosting a game night soon where the community is going to come together and play Fall Guys. So if you want to get together with me and the community and just like have a good time, and I feel like it's like the corner of the internet where like if you want to be like super into manifesting and tarot and occultism and spirituality, stuff like that, it is like a place where all of us just do that. It's like a bunch of like-minded individuals coming together, and I come to these events too. I'm the one that hosts them virtually, so make sure that you join the Patreon. I feel like it is such a great place for us to come together, and I genuinely am so wholeheartedly, like, the reason I get to do what I do here on YouTube for free is because I have that Patreon community that supports the work that I do. So it also just like helps me as an artist, as a creator, as a mystic and seer, and somebody that wants to help the collective. It helps me to actually further my work. So definitely check it out if you've ever wanted to support me or be a part of a community like that. I would highly encourage it. Link for that is always down below. And now I want to talk about this reading a little bit. So there are going to be some symbols that correspond with each of these decks that you probably saw in the thumbnail. But pile number 1 is going to have this symbol, and this deck, which is the Threads of Fate Shadow Oracle, Shadow Edition. This deck is also going to correspond with, I cannot believe it, y'all, but it's finally here, candles. We're doing candles today. If y'all have been on my channel for a long time, you know what a big deal that is. We haven't done candles in a while. This one wants to roll off. It's fine. We haven't done intention candles together in a really long time, but I feel like because it is the beginning of a new year, I really want to set y'all off correct for this year. Okay. I want everybody to come correct. So this one is going to have a pink candle. Pile number 2 is the Rose edition of the Threads of Fate Oracle, and this is going to have a green candle, of course, as well as the symbol that I have prepared for you already. And pile number 3 is going to be with the Lumen Oracle, Threads of Fate. These are all the same deck. They're just in different color variations. So same decks, just different colors. And the candle that's going to go with this deck is a purple candle. And something else that we're going to be doing for today is, y'all always love the book divination, and I am such a fan of book divination myself. I'm such an avid reader. I have learned so much through reading and just like learning new things about myself that I love sharing passages from like my favorite authors with you. And we basically just like flip to a random page in a book and see what comes up, like what your message is. So today, every single pile is going to be read from The Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It is a book that completely transformed my life in, I want to say 2017, 2018. I read this book at a really dark time in my life where a lot had happened and I was going through like exponential growth and changing as a person. And this book really gave me the push forward that I needed. So we're going to be using that today. And of course, everything that I use today will be linked down below for you, the book included. And what else do I want to say about this in the beginning? This reading is going to be a little different from other ones that I've done, as in this one is a little more guided. So there's actually specific questions that we're going to be answering throughout this reading. And those questions, I'm just going to give you a quick little preview of, and maybe you already know what you want. You can go click on your candle, your book, as well as your card section. There's going to be timestamps for each pile. So you can mix and match if you want to. Like maybe you want the green candle, but you want the shadow oracle and you want one of the book passages. Like feel free to mix and match. There'll be a timestamp for everything down below. But these are the questions we're going to be addressing with this. And I did one of these spreads on myself, y'all, and it was so good for me that I was like, my community needs this. So we're going to be answering 7 different questions today, and that is the main theme of the new year for you, departing energies from last year, talents you'll be expressing this year, future opportunities, upcoming obstacles, how to deal with upcoming obstacles, and how to achieve your dreams and goals this year. So we're going to be addressing all of that. So I feel like this is like the all-encompassing, like, what is this year going to be for you? I also want to talk a little bit about the astrology of this year just for a moment with you. I might do a like bigger video on this. If any of y'all are interested, just leave me like your astrological sign down below with like a thumbs up or something, so I know that you want this video. But I wanted to give this in this video because I really want this to be, again, like an all-encompassing 2023 what is coming. If you don't care about astrology, feel free once again to just head over to your timestamps. But there are 2 major things happening this year. Actually, there's 4 major things happening this year. I am only going to talk about 3 of them. One of them I'm saving for another time because I need to like research it a little bit more before I talk about it. But 3 major astrological events that are taking place this year that I feel like are really going to be just impactful for the year overall. So the first thing I want to say though is that this year is lighter. When it comes to the astrology of the year, the past 2 years, if I could be so frank with y'all, have been absolute hell. Like, I'm not saying some of you haven't had really great years and like thrived during this time period. I know for myself, even though collectively we were going through it, 2020 was an excellent year for me, but only personally, not on like a global scale. And that is true for some of y'all. Maybe 2021 was an excellent year or 2022 was an excellent year. But for most of us, a lot of the last like 2 to 3 years have just been so harsh astrologically. And there's many reasons for that. There's just been a lot of like tumultuous and extreme transits happening over the last few years. This year is not that crazy. This year is significantly lighter. And if you are a Taurus or an Aries, sun, moon, rising, I'm going to say in particular, or North nodes, North node Taurus or North node Aries, this is your year, okay? Taurus and Aries are the main characters this year, but I want to remind you that even if you're not a Taurus or an Aries in either of those like in Sun, Moon, Rising, these transits still affect that area of your birth charts. I don't want to get too heavily into just like explaining how to figure all that out because that's, again, another video for another time. But everybody has a Taurus and an Aries placement. Even if you don't have like a planet there, you have a placement because the constellation of Taurus and the constellation of Aries didn't just fall out of the sky the day that you were born. You might not have a planet there, but if you go by the whole sign house system, you have a house there. Those are the houses that will be activated for you. So What's going on exactly is, number one, we still have the North Node going through the astrological sign of Taurus. This has been true for most of 2022, and through about the first half of 2023, this is still going on. And this puts Taurus at the forefront. Honestly, Taurus was the main character of 2022 as well. And for most, or 2022. No, sorry. Yeah, 2022. And that's going to continue into the first half of 2023 because we still have that North Node present. It's a lot of forward momentum. It's a lot of pushing you forward in an aspect of your life, wherever Taurus is for you. And I actually made a whole video on this. If you look at my video, it's like Fate and Destiny are changing on my channel. I explain this to you in detail, what specifically, no matter where Taurus is in your chart, what it's going to highlight for you based off of your rising sign. So I already went over that in another video. I'm not going to talk about it here, but this theme is going to continue for the first half of 2023. And then about mid-year, the North and South Node are actually going to move into Aries and Libra. Now, Libra, because it's South Node, this doesn't really make Libra the main character, but Aries, on the other hand, this is your main character moment, okay? When the North Node crosses an important place in your chart, like your Sun, Moon, Rising, or your North Node in particular, if you're having like a North Node return kind of energy, this again puts the emphasis on you. It puts the emphasis on you. It pushes you forward. You get a lot of forward momentum. Things in your life progress rapidly. And this, wherever Aries is in your charts, is going to affect you as well. And the second thing I want to mention that is huge is, especially for me, but for many of you, if I look at my demographic, I know that there are many, 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 many of you that are in the same range as me of like 3 years, where we have been going through a Saturn return. Now, that's not everybody. There are plenty of you that are younger that have yet to go through yours. There are plenty of you that are older that have already been through yours. But the transit, or the planet of Saturn rather, when it moves to a new sign, it is still felt collectively. We still deal with the themes of Saturn. Everybody deals with them. People that go through their Saturn return deal with them much harsher, of course, but everybody still deals with it. So if you have been going through your Saturn return, you would have to natally have Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. We have been in this transit for the last 3 years. It has been excruciating for your girl, Kloee, okay? It has been a hard mother effing time. I am tickled mother effing pink over the fact that this transit is finally moving for me, because I have learned a lot of very valuable but harsh lessons. And that is such typical Saturn return energy. We've all learned a lot of lessons, especially when it comes to friendship, when it comes to the internet expansion, when it comes to, I'm trying to think of like everything Aquarius rules. I would say that it does rule over, I would definitely feel like it deals with a lot of like social movements. Like we've seen such an uptick of social movements over the last 3 years. I mean, come on now, Saturn moved into Aquarius and we all know what happened at the beginning of 2020 when that happened. So, it's been a lot. It's been a lot to deal with. And as it transitions on, I want to say it's March 8th or 9th, we're going to have Saturn actually move into the sign of Pisces. And when this happens, people that have Aquarius, actually, if you have Saturn in Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, or Taurus, you're going to feel a sense of relief when this moves. If you have Saturn natally in Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, you are going to feel that shift pretty heavily as well, because this affects you specifically, especially those of you that have Saturn in Pisces. This is going to affect you the hardest. But as this moves, it's basically like a new challenge enters the ring. for the next 3 years. And it's a multitude of challenges, a multitude of themes. Pisces rules death, rebirth, the afterlife, escapism. And when I say escapism, I always think about like our coping mechanisms, the things that we use to escape reality. We're definitely all going to collectively be learning lessons about outdated coping mechanisms. I feel like a lot of us, even spiritually, are going to really evolve through this transit over the next 3 years. But ultimately, this is a huge transit. It literally, if you look through history, when Saturn has moved into different signs, it is part of what sets trends, even in like pop culture. So even if you're somebody that's like a business owner, it's so important to follow the transit of Saturn because you can spot trends before they even arise. And literally throughout history, you see it happen over and over and over again. Even if it's like newly innovative, it's still like the same stuff repackaged. So I wanted to point that out because Saturn, again, is that lesson bringer. It's a slow moving planet, takes like 3 years to move through a sign. And it often wants us to like put our head down and get to work in that area of our life. I would say Pisces ultimately is like spiritual transition of some kind. Where Aquarius was more about like teaching us about friendships, our values in friendship, teaching us about, I feel like Aquarius rules like such like broad community that we learned a lot about community as well. And people in authenticity, we learned more about our own authentic selves during that transit. And so as this moves, I expect change. Anybody that has gone through their Saturn return at this time, throw yourself a party in March. You deserve it. It has been so grueling for all of us, and I know it. And then the last thing I want to mention is Jupiter. So Jupiter is currently in the sign of Aries, I want to say. If it's not there yet, it will be very soon. I didn't actually pull up the dates for this, but I know that it was coming. And I am doing all of this on tropical astrology, by the way. That is what I practice. That's what I've studied. So just know that. And then as Jupiter moves, basically through the first half of this year, Jupiter is our planet of luck, abundance, and expansion. So it like blesses that area of your life. So we have it in Aries. A lot of us might be feeling really activated wherever Aries is in our chart, right? And this is going to be, I feel like, really fun energy for the bulk of the early half of this year. I see this as a good thing. Obviously, I'm a Sagittarius rising, so anytime Jupiter is running through a fire sign, I enjoy that time. For you, if you're a little bit slower moving, this might not feel as fun. It could bring a little bit more like feelings of chaos, but ultimately, I see this as a good time. I think this is, again, lighter energy for 2023. It's not as heavy. It's not as hectic. And then towards the middle of this year, we're going to have Jupiter move into the sign of Taurus. This is why Aries and Taurus are the main characters this year. So Jupiter is going to be moving into Taurus, which is all about luxury, financial stability, security, wealth, prosperity, and like basically just honoring your senses. So taste, touch, smell, anything that feels like luxurious to you or wherever Taurus is in your chart is going to be amplified. So I see this, like, honestly, I put a tweet out about this the other day. I said, the North Node starting out in Taurus and then Jupiter moving into Taurus mid-year. 2023 smells rich, okay? We are having our rich mom arc, our rich luxurious vibe, our rich person, rich mom, rich dad. 2023 smells rich, okay? So that's all I wanted to tell you about the astrology. I hope that is something. Oh my gosh, Siri, please stop this. Sorry, my Apple Watch went off. She said, here's what I found. Anyways, I know that was kind of all over the place. Mercury is in retrograde, so please give me some grace. I feel like I also haven't recorded a pick a card in a really long time. And I also feel like I just haven't talked on my YouTube channel because of that in a really long time. Because even when I record shorts for y'all, which I've been putting a ton of those out, I bulk record those all on one day, like 10 of them. and they just go out over time. So I haven't recorded something new for the channel in quite some time, and I'm just so happy to be here. I'm so happy to talk to you. I'm so happy to give you all the details. But in any case, let's go ahead. I'm going to give you some time to meditate if you haven't already made a choice on what candle, what card deck, what you're feeling. I'm going to give you some time to do that now, and then we're going to get into it. Yeah. All right, y'all, we're going to start with your intention candle. So I've got this pink candle for you. Beautiful. I love pink energy. Pink candles are actually some of my personal favorite because to me, they honor the goddess Aphrodite. It's like one of her favorites. I know that as she is the goddess that I work with literally 100 out of the 100% of the time. It's rare that I honor any other deity, but pink is the energy of like innocent love, self-love. To me, it just brings in like, especially if you're feeling like a lot of like limiting unconscious beliefs, stuck energy, nervous energy, pink candles can really, really, really soften that and allow you to just like relax into the care and like the loving, gentle nature of the universe holding you. So feel free to use this candle for anything you want to. You can use this to manifest your best 2023. You can use it to manifest love. You can use it to manifest a new career, money. It really doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. I would encourage you to take some time to consider what you want to use this for. And then I'm going to go ahead and like pause this video if you want to sit and think about it for a minute, or even like grab a notepad and write something down really quick just so you have that intention and you can keep it. And then I'm just going to try not to burn myself and melt the bottom of the candle a little bit so we can get it to stand up straight, hopefully. I feel like I didn't press it in there very good. We're going to need to do that again. There's like, I did not clean this holder out very well. There, oh, there we go. Okay. Come on. Okay, we're gonna hope that that's gonna burn correct. That's on being a chaos witch. You just kind of have to let things be, and it's like, oopsie if they don't work out. Also, I do apologize if you hear any background music. I am currently playing Debussy music, classical piano. It's my thing. I listen to it in my office almost 24/7 when I'm working. And I was like, you know what? Why do I ever cut this out? Like, I should just play it. And if people hear it, like you hear a little piano music, it's okay. That is the energy I'm coming for in 2023, is just not being so hard on myself and so perfectionist. So I want you to go ahead, just before we take the enchanted lighter and light her up, I want you to go ahead and place your your right hand over your heart, just right in the center of your chest, and your left hand over your belly button. And this is what is called a safe hold. It actually nudges the nervous system towards relaxation because it creates safety in the body by feeling supported by you, especially if you apply a little bit of gentle pressure. Doesn't that just feel nice? Almost like a hug. And we're just going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth in your own time. You don't have to follow my breathing pattern. And on the exhale, I really want you to drop your shoulders, drop your jaw, and like give me like a ah sound, like really let it out. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on my own breathing time frame, but like don't feel like you have to rush to keep pace with me or go longer. Okay. So just 3 of those. Again. And again. And while you're in this position, I want you just to think about basically, I always imagine it like a sparkling white light or a gold light, starting at my crown and just kind of tracing the outline of my body. And I just want you to imagine any cords that you have attached to 2022 or to people, to places, to past events. Maybe it even goes back farther than 2022. I just want you to imagine this golden light gently severing those ties as it outlines your body. So we're going to go from the crown, and this beautiful light, it casts around all of your body as it goes down. So we're going to start at the crown. We're just going to feel that light coming down over the eyes, over the nose, over your mouth, over your ears, your chin, your neck, over your heart, your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips, your torso, your back, your belly, your pelvis, down over your thighs and hips, your calves, your heels, your toes. Let's just take another deep breath and sigh on the exhale. One more. And as we sit in this beautiful energy, just imagine any cords and ties from the past that have been holding you back or maybe siphoning your power. They are just melting away. Your body is feeling lighter and lighter. With every breath in, you're getting lighter. And with every exhale, you're removing any dense energy internally. Okay. Now I want you to call forth whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into this reality. Whatever it is that you're wanting to bring in to this reality with you. If there is, maybe you have like a whole vision for your 2023 or whatever year you're listening to this. Maybe you have a whole vision, okay? I want you to call forth that vision. See yourself in first person. Look down at your hands. In that new career, that new home, that new relationship. What's around you? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What can you see? What are the details of this new, fresh year with all the blessings that are literally conspiring to come into your life right now? I want you to see them and feel what it would feel like to have them right now. If any sensations come up that make you feel like you're going to doubt this reality that you're seeing and creating for yourself, I want you to lovingly remind yourself that the moment you decide on what you want your reality to be, the universe literally conspires on your behalf to bring everything into your life that you could ever dream up. If it is desired by you, it is destined for you. I want you just to take a few more moments to feel this new reality sinking in for you. You're calling it into your life. And take one more big, deep breath. Relax into those feelings. When you feel ready, I want you to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Take a deep stretch if you'd like to, and open your eyes. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna light this candle for you, and anything that you just set your intention on and you saw and you envisioned, if you feel like you needed more time in that vision, don't hesitate to pause this video and to come back when you're ready. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna light this candle, and what this is gonna do, this lighter has been giving me trouble all day. Like, I know she's enchanted, but what this is gonna do is basically, this candle is like an offering to the universe. And as it burns down, all that energy that you and countless other people that chose this candle, all of that powerful energy, my energy too, went into this intention with yours. And this is the offering that goes out to the universe. And as it burns down, and I let it burn out all the way on its own. Like, I'm not going to snuff this candle out or blow it out. It's going to go all the way out on its own. That energy is going to be received almost like not just an offering, but like a request, like a love letter to the universe. Think of it that way. And it's going to bring those manifestations in. So the universe is going to take this almost like a gift, and we are going to see what happens from there. And just watch what magic unfolds in your life, okay? All right. Now, we are going to do your book divination, and then we're going to get into your cards. So we're reading from Light is the New Black. I'm just going to flip to a random page. All right, you got these 2 pages. And the first thing says, "You are divine. Although you appear in earthly form, your essence is pure consciousness. You are the fearless guardian of divine light. You are divine in every sense of the word, an expression of source energy, light in human form. The ego leads us to believe we are separate from Source and each other, and that we need to work to find our wholeness, love, and purpose. And if we are lucky enough to find it, we better cling on to it with all of our might for fear of losing it. The denial of our divine nature leads us to endless search outside of ourselves. We look to others to feel love. We look to someone outside of ourselves to worship. We wait for people to give us permission to shine or feel whole and complete. Whereas we already are all that we seek. We only have to turn our gaze in. Wholeness, happiness, and love are our birthright. As a baby, there was no part of you that doubted your wholeness. As a result, you lit up the world without even trying. Love, light, wisdom, happiness, and wholeness are available to you on tap at every moment because they are what you are at your core, and they're waiting for you to let them in. Mantra: I am connected to the never-ending flow of light. Everything I am searching for is already ready to flow through me. And then on this page we have, the universe is always expanding. You are part of the universe. Expansion is your natural state. If you resist your expansion, you resist who you are. Expand into your bigness now. It's beautiful. All right, that was the message that you needed. And next we're going to get into your cards. All right, pile number one. So we're going to go ahead and start addressing all of those questions that I mentioned to you. So the first thing is going to be the main theme of your year. And the card that you got is Connect to the Heart. So with Connect to the Heart, that means that everything you do this year needs to be met with some form of an intention from your heart. So I know that sounds probably so like, of course, why would I not want to do things from the heart, right? Let me shift the focus here. Why would you not want to do things from the heart, right? That seems maybe to some of you like such an easy thing, but I feel like we often discount the heart. We'll listen to our gut. We'll listen to our brain. We'll listen to like logic, or we'll ask every single other person that surrounds us to give us the answers that we're after. And the issue with that is that we don't actually know in our own heart what it is that we're after, what it is that we desire. And maybe you're someone that you always say when people ask, like, what do you want? Or what's your like vision? What's your big picture? What is it that you desire? You might be one of those people that says you don't know. And I want to really set the record straight with you here, right now. You do know. You do know. And it is actually only a projection of the ego that keeps you in that state of perpetually saying you don't know. Because you always have access to your higher self. Your higher self is the bridge between the universe and your conscious mind. It is like the unconscious. It is where we are able to create manifestations into being, because the universe is where those manifestations come from. And our conscious mind is often what breeds like desire, right? It brings our logical mind into our desires, thinking on the forefront, like consciously of what it is that we want. And with Connect to the Heart, this tells me that this to me is your bridge. You know, some people gut feelings really are what like activate them and move them forward. Some people, it is their logical brain that helps them to really process what they're feeling and going through. For you, it really needs to be the focal point of the heart and getting to the point of your heart's desire. Stop telling yourself, like literally, if you want to advance this year in 2023 and make this year your year, stop telling yourself that you don't know what you want, because it's frankly not true. And it is a way that you bypass trying to figure out, like not even figure out. It's a way that you basically hit the big snooze on your life. You hit the big snooze by telling yourself you don't know, or you're not clear, or you need to get clarity, but you never actually set time with yourself to sit down and get clear. And with Connect to the Heart, I feel like sometimes we can lie to ourselves and tell ourselves like, oh, I don't know how to listen to my heart, like because your brain is always on like overdrive. But the heart always is there and you're always able to tap in and listen and connect. And I also feel like as a theme for your year, this is going to be a really heart-focused year of softness, self-love, self-care, self-appreciation, and diving deeper into who you are at your core. So I love that. Now, the next card that we have for you and like the next area for the year we have for you is departing energies from last year. And the card that came out for you, we have the card of the Sovereign. And I feel like maybe in 2022, you spent a lot of time alone, looking for your soul tribe, looking for your people. And that is actually going to end for you this year. The more that you actually focus on your heart space, getting clear on what it is that your heart actually desires, this is actually going to attract more people that you want to connect with. So like this to me is like the epitome of like, maybe you're somebody that like really is success oriented and success driven. Okay. You really want to like be that girl, that guy, that person. You want to get at life. You do have vision. Maybe it's not ultra clear yet because you still need to bring the heart into it, but you do have somewhat of a vision. And you're so confused as to why like you're the only dreamer and visionary in your group of friends. Why is it that you are the only person that feels like you want more and everybody kind of like silences that in you? And I'm here to tell you that that can obviously, of course, feel extremely lonely. And maybe it's not success. It also could be that you want like more spiritual BFFs, or you want people that are just more interested in the things that you're interested in. But what Spirit wants you to know is that this year, as you accept who you are at your core, as you accept that you're somebody that is driven towards success and you stop letting yourself feel shame around it and you start working through that, as you accept that you're somebody that has these vast interests, maybe that are different than what you're used to seeing in other people, you're actually going to stop being alone because your frequency is going to rise. And as your frequency rises to match that, you naturally have people that gravitate towards you. And the people that like basically just don't naturally, even on an energetic level, that are not on that same vibe, they are going to naturally shift away. And you're going to be like, wow, I don't need to be alone. Look at all these cool people around me that like the stuff that I like and are into the stuff that I'm into. So this also doesn't mean that if you're an introvert, you're like never going to be alone again. You're going to be able to have your own sovereignty, but you're not going to feel lonely anymore is really what I'm hearing. So I really love that you're going to be leaving around like any lonely, or maybe like, especially if you're somebody that's been trying to like build a community, this is the year where you're not going to be doing it on your own anymore. And you're going to have that. Now, talents you will be expressing this year. I'm so literally seeing this card. I'm going to show it to you. I am already so proud of you. Pile number one, I'm so proud of you because I know how hard this is. And this is something that you're going to be just giving off because you get it now. And you got the card of surrender. So surrender is one of those things that we think we've done enough of it. And then it's like, oh, nope, the universe said surrender more, beach. Like every time, literally without fail, we think we've surrendered enough and we need to surrender more still. So you did get the card of surrender, but ultimately, because this is coming in the placement of a natural gift, talent, something that you're going to be expressing, this means that it's going to come easily to you. Also, can we talk about the size of the flame of this candle? Candle flame size does mean a lot. Size matters. That was a joke. I don't actually feel that way, but with candles, I do. Size matters. Okay, so remember that with candles, size matters. The like size of this flame is quite large, and it's because we all put such freaking good intentions into this. So to me, that's just like confirmation that what you set intention for is actually going to happen really fast, because the candle is also burning a lot faster. And that is always a key indication. So I do feel as though the talent you're going to be expressing this year is basically the natural affinity to surrender deeply to your life unfolding. And I think that's also because you're connecting to your heart. Now, the next thing we have is future opportunities. And this I think is really interesting. You got a lot of really like spiritual cards in your reading, pile number one, which I mean, that doesn't surprise me. If you listen to the astrology chunk in this video, I talked about how Saturn is going to be moving into Pisces this year. And when that happens, I do believe that a lot of us are going to be going through major spiritual evolution. So, what I see with this, we have trust for you. Trust is a future opportunity. Now, what I think, I'm going to move this because I want this still to be here, but I need a little more space. So, with this trust card, what this tells me is that, oh, I guess I didn't really show it to you very well, huh? What this says to me is number one, trusting yourself. This is something that I am huge on. If you don't listen to the podcast Divine Authenticity, then you maybe don't know, but trust is such a huge key component to all of the work that I do. Teaching others how to trust themselves is like my mission in life right now. I believe that purposes can change in a lifetime, but currently my purpose is literally to teach people how to trust themselves. So if this is something that you feel like is a true opportunity in your life, you are on the right person's channel. You are speaking to the right reader. But this card of trust, it's not just about trusting yourself. It is about deeply trusting the universe. And literally, because you have it paired with surrender, I feel like this is so indicative of basically opportunities are going to come into your life. You're not getting like a specific opportunity in your reading because it's any opportunity you want. Like if there's a brand you want to work with, you can have that. If there's a trip you want to like manifest, if there is, the options here are endless. You can literally have anything you want. But the way that these opportunities are going to come to you is by not only trusting yourself, but by trusting that they are coming, which I think is beautiful because you also got that card of surrender in your reading, where when you surrender and you let go and you let things just naturally unfold, that is often what brings things in such a beautiful, miraculous, like gorgeous way that you like never could have even imagined it into being yourself. Like it happens so beautifully, elegantly, and perfectly for you that you couldn't have imagined it better yourself. And that comes from ultimately trusting the universe is going to bring you exactly what you want and exactly what you need, and being open to the possibility. This is going to be a really opening year for you for sure. Now we have upcoming obstacles. We actually have the higher perspective card for you. And what I think is fascinating about getting the higher perspective card as an obstacle is it's like, it's funny. This looks like a croissant. Do you see that? Maybe I'm crazy. It's funny. I don't know why. Like maybe one of y'all is like eating a croissant right now while you're watching this, but I don't know why that would come up right now. So inappropriate. Not inappropriate, but like so random when I feel like this card is so serious. But with an obstacle being the higher perspective, this could be like going through a spiritual awakening when it feels like you're not ready or feels like maybe a little bit scary. I don't say that to scare any of you. There are so many potentials that this could be. So allow me to list a few. it could be that you're gaining like like your third eye opening and you're just like, you feel like you're not ready. But ultimately, if it is happening at the result of trusting and surrendering, know that you are ready. I also feel like with higher perspective being an obstacle, it's like you might feel that you have a hard time this year connecting to your higher self. Like it's harder to access. And this happens, I feel like, to everybody. Literally, I've experienced this myself. I have friends that have experienced this. It is so normal to go through periods of time in your life where you feel like you do not have access to the divine. And it doesn't mean that you don't, they literally don't leave you, but sometimes you need to learn lessons on your own without all of the divine intervention all the time. And though you can always rely on them for like comfort, they can't get in the way of a contract that you made before incarnating. So like they can't change those things that you already said you wanted to learn in this lifetime. So I do feel like when it comes to the higher perspective, it might just be harder at some points to access that throughout this year. I don't think it's going to be an all year thing, but just know that this is an obstacle that you might face like periodically this year, is feeling like almost like left out in the cold from divinity for a little while. But that's mainly because you need to learn to surrender. Like you're learning to well, you're not learning to surrender because that's going to come easier. I feel like you maybe won't even have a choice, like it's going to have to come, but you're learning how to trust more. And you are learning a lot of like deep spiritual lessons this year. I can see that in literally almost every card here. I feel like, except for maybe the Sovereign, I feel like every card here is really indicative of like some kind of spiritual up-leveling or like advancement for you. Not to say that it's like lesser or better than where you've been or anybody else, but it's changing the way that you see the world and your own life. So I do feel like there's going to be some time periods where you're going to have to walk through the forest alone. And maybe you'll have support of like people in life, of course, but when it comes to divinity, there are some things that you need to face. So that is definitely coming up as an obstacle. Let me have a little sip of water really quick. Excuse me. Okay. Now we have how to deal with the upcoming obstacle. We have the card of share wisdom. So this I really love because this is why you're also coming out of the sovereign energy, because you need to connect with people that need your wisdom. They need like your secret sauce. They need what you know, what you create, the knowledge that you have obtained. And when you share your wisdom, whether by it's like creating a business and sharing your wisdom and what you've learned, or maybe it's sharing of yourself, sharing of tools and modalities that you've learned. When you open yourself up to share, you are going to connect with so many like-minded individuals, and they are going to bring perspectives to you that you didn't even know that you needed. So it's like this really beautiful balance between you like being less alone because you're sharing wisdom. Like maybe you're somebody that's like going to build a public platform this year, like something maybe you're going to take to like TikTok or Instagram or Discord, or you're going to get invested in like, it could also be family or like new friends in your area. But I do feel like there's something about sharing things that you have learned. And as you do that, you're going to be introduced more to like new concepts, like things that you've never even thought of or considered before. So I feel like sharing of yourself is definitely like, especially if you feel like you shouldn't be sharing or shouldn't be talking, or like you're maybe scared to share this version of yourself or this thing about you. Like, I need to just tell you something, pile number one. Your uniqueness is literally what makes you special. Like, if I could give you an example, and I just need to say, like, I'm a really big storyteller in my work. When I listen to other people's tarot card readings, audiobooks, lectures, stories that other people tell about their personal experiences, like really help me learn. So I very much am a teacher that teaches how I learn. And when it comes to you needing to share of yourself and be your unique self, the best way I know how to explain it, sorry, my Mercury's in retrograde and I feel like my brain like lost it for a second and I had to call it back in. But in my own life, when I used to like, especially when I was in the gaming industry, which many of you maybe don't know that about me. If you've been here for a long time, you probably do. I used to have a gaming channel that went by the name Coffee. It was Coffee with a K. And in my gaming channel, when the views started to go down, I was really stressed because that was my livelihood and it was also my passion. It was my baby. And when that really started to tank, that career for me really started to tank, I really tried everything in my power to look at other people's channels and just copy what they were doing because I thought, well, if these people are successful, like I can be successful doing what they did. And literally like not making like carbon copies of their work, but just copying like their thumbnail styles or the way they wrote their descriptions on YouTube or the way that they edited their videos. Like I would try to replicate other people. And I think this is super normal when you're trying to figure out your own style. I don't fault anybody for doing this. I think we all learn from each other. And if you want to get technical, I don't even think that copying is real. Like, yes, I think plagiarism is real, obviously, but I think that when it comes to copying, I always look at it as the highest form of flattery. Like even when people do content like tarot that's like mine, where they do like titles like mine, color schemes like mine, I take that as flattery. I think like, wow, like I truly, any of my friends in the tarot sphere, I always tell them like, if you ever need like this or this or this, like please use it. Like this is, my music, this is the font that I use. These are the color palettes I use. Like I don't own this shit. Like, yes, it's the brand and my uniqueness, but I don't feel like I actually own anything. Anyways, that's beside the point. I don't know why I got on that tangent. Maybe one of y'all's just needed to hear that. But my point that I'm trying to make here is when I started doing Kloee Taylor and actually being myself and like teaching tarot, teaching astrology, channeling in tarot card readings, there was this moment where I realized I didn't want to be like Shaunetta's Divine Tarot. I didn't want to be like the Gem Goddess. I didn't want to be like Anita Serene, Siren. I didn't want to be these other people, though they are all fabulous, amazing, incredible people, and I have such love and respect for them. It finally dawned on me that I wanted to do what they were doing. Like I wanted to make tarot card readings, but I wanted to do it how Kloee Taylor would do it. I didn't want to do it how the Gem Goddess would do it. I didn't want to do it how, not to say that I've never been inspired by other people's work in this community, but I wanted to do it how I would do it. And that, like, your uniqueness really is your superpower. The fact that we do like cozy autumnal vibes, and I know I feel like I've been kind of slacking since I moved, but we're going to bring it back. Trust. I feel like 2023 is a new era of Kloee Taylor, and we are coming for some vibes. We'll talk about that at another time. But like, just know that your uniqueness is your superpower. And being yourself is the most beautiful thing and the most beautiful gift that you can give to this world. You don't need to do it like somebody else. You need to do it how you would do it, because you can do the same thing as somebody else, but nobody is going to be able to bring it to life the way that you would do it. That's why I always tell y'all, whenever somebody tells me like the market is too saturated on YouTube, or they can't start a podcast because there's so many podcasts out there, or whatever, I always tell people, do you think Lizzo, the queen of amazing music, literally looked at the music industry and said, we don't need another music artist. There's too many of those. No, she made music anyway. So be the Lizzo that I know that you are, okay? Do it in the unique way that you could only do it. And share of yourself. Share your wisdom. You have been given the gift of being able to obtain wisdom in your lifetime because you are supposed to share it. And you're not doing yourself any favors by keeping it to yourself. So stop it. Like, I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit harsh with you, but spirit is also bringing it into me that way. Like, the way it is being channeled in is like, you need to tell them. Like, it is a very, like, your guides are getting impatient. Now, the last card or the last question, and then I have a couple more cards for you too, is how to achieve your dreams and goals this year. And I know y'all are you're going to hate this. I'm sorry. Like, some of y'all might be okay with it, but I think y'all are going to hate this. And you got the card of patience. So the best way that you're going to achieve your goals and dreams this year is through having patience, taking the slow and steady route, and knowing that life is not a race. Like, you don't need to race to anything. You're allowed to take your time. You don't need to race. This is a life's work, not a season. So it's okay if you put your first YouTube video out there and it gets no views. It's okay if you make your first podcast episode and it doesn't have this huge, massive launch. And in fact, any of my entrepreneurs out there that want to get into like the internet space, no matter what it is, I need to just tell you something that I think, just from me to you. This is not me channeling this. This is just from me to you as somebody that has been online for literally since 2010. It's been 13 years that I have been in like the digital space. You are going to be so much more successful if you have a backlog of content. Trust me, you don't want your first video to go viral, your first podcast to go viral, because slow and steady growth is what gives you the it keeps you afloat over time versus being a one-hit wonder. You are not a one-hit wonder. You don't want to be a one-hit wonder. Trust me. Like, I have been on every end of the spectrum in this industry. Really, I have done so many different things in this industry, and I have had such a wide range of seeing how it can be done. And that is one thing that I will just tell you, is that when you finally have that video, that podcast, something that pops off, people want to go and binge your content. So the fact that you will have a backlog of things already available is what is going to make you rise to the top and stay there. So trust me when I tell you, like, don't wait to make your first video or your first podcast or what have you super, super, super perfect and think that this is the thing that is going to make you go viral and that is what you want. Because I promise you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. And having a backlog of content actually keeps your growth consistent. So if no one shows up, that's okay. Get some content backlogged up there and allow yourself to grow over time. It honestly is better in the long run, I promise. Trust me on this one. I've been there. And if you don't care about any of the things I just said, I'm sorry that we had to interlude there for a second, but have patience this year. This is a good year. This is a good year. You are calling good energy into your life. You are trusting the flow of life this year. You're building something beautiful. I can see that. You just need to get a little bit clearer on exactly what it looks like. Connect to your heart. Don't do it from an egoic place of wanting, like, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with like wanting material. You need it. We need money to survive. We need, like, there are things that we need. But when you get clear on what like the actual thing is from the heart, the vision that you see, surrender it. Trust yourself. Know that you'll be able to access your higher self, but it might take a little finagling this year. Share of yourself and have a little patience with it. This year is going to unfold so beautifully. I just know it. I can feel it. And that is what I have for you, pile number one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry if this reading was a little chaotic. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to check out my Patreon if you want to support me as a creator, get some extra content, come and join our live events. It's so much fun. Don't forget to check out the description for any of like the tarot decks, the book, the candles. Oh my gosh, why am I trying to pretend that that's all I have for you? I'm sorry. I do have a couple extra cards for you. My gosh, I forgot because I need to shuffle and pick one. So for your year, I just want to give you a soul wisdom card. And then I also want to give you an affirmation card. So sorry that I'm like trying to cut you off right now. Okay, we got for you, heal yourself through heal yourself through eternal love and unconditional self-acceptance. Forgiveness will set you free. So forgive yourself. Like, if you haven't built something or made something of yourself or made something you're really proud of or gotten to a certain place in your life, you need to have radical forgiveness for yourself. Again, life's work, not a season. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are, you have time. You need to forgive yourself. This year, forgive yourself. You not forgiving yourself is honestly, I think, what's been holding you back. And I'm going to pull you an affirmation. Ooh, that is the one. I let go of all that no longer serves me. Beautiful. Okay, that is going to be your reading. I'm sorry that I tried to cut you off without getting the rest of your cards, but thank you so much for letting me read for you. I love you so much, pile number one. And I really do believe in your ability to create a beautiful year. I look forward to hearing about how you feel about it in the comments. And please, please, please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I already mentioned the Patreon to you, but don't forget to check out my podcast, Divine Authenticity. I have huge plans for the podcast this year. Huge, massive plans. Like, it is probably the thing that I have dumped the most creation into, and I have really big plans. So definitely check out the podcast. It's available everywhere you listen. I would really appreciate you giving it a listen, giving it a rating. And also, if you would like to do so, if this reading resonated and you want to assist me further, you can always subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. Those are all really helpful things. But if you would like to do it in a non-free way, if you have the means to do so, it is always appreciated, never expected. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I always accept tips for my readings. Of course, I don't expect it, but I always will graciously accept and will pour that back into my channel. I genuinely, unless you leave me a note and tell me like, girl, go get some dinner, or you like give me something to do with it, I always pour it back into my channel for new decks, new candles, incense, cleansing things. Like, it always comes back to you and to what I provide. So definitely check that out down below if you would like to leave me a tip. And seriously, y'all, just know that, like, I really do have so much love for you. If nobody has told you that this year, just please know how much love I have for you. I hope you, like, literally, I hope you feel it. I hope you feel it through the screen, because I have so much love for this community and for you. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number two. So as you can tell, it's probably a lot brighter in here, and candle looks different. I'm actually coming back to your reading in the morning, where everything I was working on, the intro, all of that was all last night. So you and the next pile are going to just be like significantly brighter readings, but it's because I work in front of a window. But we're first going to get into your intention candle, which I do have a meditation that we'll be doing with this candle. So I'm first going to just ask you to set some intentions with this candle. So green candles do resemble luck, abundance, prosperity, anything that like brings growth into your life. But please know that this can be for anything. So if you want to create a whole new you for 2023, if you want to create a new sector of your life, if there's a habit that you want to give up or a habit that you want to sustain. The choice is honestly really up to you here. So feel free to put any intention on this candle that you want. You can choose to pause this video, and I would say even you can pause this video and even choose to write some things down or come up with more. Shoot, go and create a whole vision board. I definitely recommend doing that at the turn of a new year always. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and actually get this candle set up, and then we're going to do a little meditation with it that's going to really bring your manifestations in. So I want you to go ahead, just before we take the enchanted lighter and light her up, I want you to go ahead and place your left hand, your right hand over your heart, just right in the center of your chest, and your left hand over your belly button. And this is what is called a safe hold. It actually nudges the nervous system towards relaxation because it creates safety in the body by feeling supported by you, especially if you apply a little bit of gentle pressure. Doesn't that just feel nice? Almost like a hug. And we're just going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth in your own time. You don't have to follow my breathing pattern. And on the exhale, I really want you to drop your shoulders, drop your jaw, and like give me like a ah sound, like really let it out. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on my own breathing time frame, but like don't feel like you have to rush to keep pace with me or go longer. Okay. So just 3 of those. Again. And again. And while you're in this position, I want you just to think about basically, I always imagine it like a sparkling white light or a gold light, starting at my crown and just kind of tracing the outline of my body. And I just want you to imagine any cords that you have attached to 2022 or to people, to places, to past events. Maybe it even goes back farther than 2022. I just want you to imagine this golden light gently severing those ties as it outlines your body. So we're going to go from the crown, and this beautiful light, it casts around all of your body as it goes down. So we're going to start at the crown. We're just going to feel that light coming down over the eyes, over the nose, over your mouth, over your ears, your chin, your neck, over your heart, your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips, your torso, your back, your belly, your pelvis, down over your thighs and hips, your calves, your heels, your toes. Let's just take another deep breath and sigh on the exhale. One more. And as we sit in this beautiful energy, just imagine any cords and ties from the past that have been holding you back or maybe siphoning your power. They are just melting away. Your body is feeling lighter and lighter. With every breath in, you're getting lighter. And with every exhale, You're removing any dense energy internally. Okay. Now I want you to call forth whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into this reality. Whatever it is that you're wanting to bring in to this reality with you. If there is, maybe you have like a whole vision for your 2023 or whatever year you're listening to this. Maybe you have a whole vision, okay? I want you to call forth that vision. See yourself in first person. Look down at your hands, in that new career, that new home, that new relationship. What's around you? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What can you see? What are the details of this new, fresh year with all the blessings that are literally conspiring to come into your life right now? I want you to see them and feel what it would feel like to have them right now. If any sensations come up that make you feel like you're going to doubt this reality that you're seeing and creating for yourself, I want you to lovingly remind yourself that the moment you decide on what you want your reality to be, the universe literally conspires on your behalf to bring everything into your life that you could ever dream up. If it is desired by you, it is destined for you. I want you just to take a few more moments to feel this new reality sinking in for you. You're calling it into your life. And take one more big, deep breath. Relax into those feelings. When you feel ready, I want you to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Take a deep stretch if you'd like to, and open your eyes. All right, pile number 2. Let's go ahead and we are going to light this candle. Gosh, this enchanted lighter, she has been just having a really hard time the last few days. All right. So what this is going to do as this candle burns out, it's going to basically be like an offering to the universe, God, the cosmos, your higher self. I use all of those terms interchangeably, so feel free to use whatever is appropriate for you. But this is basically going to be like an offering that is going to bring these intentions that you set here today into your life. So I will let this burn all the way down. And in fact, I'm probably going to move this candle out of the way. And we're just going to stick this right up here in the corner so that we can still see it. And we'll see it throughout the reading. And then even after, I'm going to continue to let it burn all the way down. And that is going to really solidify the work that you did here today. Because honestly, that meditation, that is work. Like what you did here today is work. So let's go ahead and get into the book divination sector of this. So this is just what you need to hear from this book that we have. I'm just going to flip to a random page. Okay. You got face the niggle. And we're going to read this page and this page. So the niggling feeling, that annoying niggling feeling, that inconvenient, annoying niggling feeling. Try as you might, it's there, and it ain't going anywhere. I spent years ignoring the niggling feelings, throwing my best dollops of stubbornness, ego, post-rationalization, and numbing out at them. It's exhausting. And until you face it, life just throws you more bait to awaken the niggle. To draw your attention to the light within you that is bursting to come out. Face the niggle now. The niggle is your soul tugging at your sleeve, doing its best to get your attention before it has to churn up the heat. Listen now, if you don't face the niggle, the universe will throw something in your path, and then you will regret that you didn't answer the niggle in the first place. LOL. Work your light. What is your niggling feeling trying to tell you? Who are you here to be? So to me, obviously, there is a little bit of, this might be a familiar word to you if you're somebody that is from I want to say she's from somewhere in Europe. But this is basically just that nudge, that inner feeling of being pulled, but you don't want to answer the call. And then you also got follow your intuition, especially when it doesn't make sense. So that's really what this is all about. Answering the call, following your intuition, trusting the thing that you are feeling pushed towards right now. And letting yourself be curious about it, open to it. How when something feels like it's calling you, and instead of saying to yourself, what if everything actually works out? It's you start to catastrophize, so then you don't do it. It's but what if it doesn't work? What if I make an idiot of myself? What are people going to think of me? What is my family going to think of me? What are my friends going to think of me? What are people on the internet going to think of me? What if I don't make it? What if this is a failed attempt? Instead of, what if this is exactly what I need? This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And this is exactly what my calling in this lifetime is. What if it works out exactly as it's supposed to? So I would just challenge you to use those questions as a guide to what has been pulling you, especially this year, and to get such a powerful message at the top of the year. So let's go ahead. We're going to get into your cards now. And I also just want to apologize to you if you hear any noise in the background today. Like I said, Mercury is in the microwave, so I feel like we're already dealing with some sound things. But also, my husband is doing laundry, and this room is not as soundproof as I would like it to be. So I'm hoping that it's not going to interfere or cross-contaminate too much, and that hopefully it sounds okay. All right, so we're going to be using the, which one? This is the Rose edition of the Threads of Fate Oracle. We're going to be using this to answer these basically 7, not all of them are questions, but 7 prompts for this year. And this really is going to be what you need to know about this year. So let me tell you what we're addressing. We're doing the main theme of the new year, departing energies from last year, talents you will be expressing this year, future opportunities, upcoming obstacles, how to deal with the upcoming obstacles, and how to achieve your goals and dreams this year. So we're going to go ahead and address these. And I'm just gonna, okay, so the main theme of this year, we have Get Wild. Ooh, all right, I'm gonna set these off to the side and show this to you. So Get Wild, beautiful. So this being the theme of your year, this card is all about breaking societal norms, breaking societal standards, and deciding that you're just going to do things in your own way. And I feel like what's funny about this card is the things that people consider wild are actually some of the most primal, normal things. Even if you think about when people are oh, wild sex, or oh, you're being wild, in like that kind of way, I guess, that is like one of the most primal things you can do. Because, and that's not to say that like if you're somebody that's asexual or does not enjoy that in particular, I'm not trying to be like exclusive, basically. Maybe that's not the best example I could have used, but my point is it's a primal instinct, and it's something that is like the most natural thing that our bodies could want to do with each other. Or like running barefoot through the forest. Oh no, that's so wild. Or wanting to like bathe under the moonlight. Oh no, that's so wild. You're so crazy. Like, the things that I feel like today's world considers wild are just not even wild at all. So I feel like this card is really an invitation to get in touch with that primal wild nature. What does your body want to do? What do you feel called to, especially when it comes to the natural world and like the nature's natural cycles? What are you feeling pulled to this year? And also, I think get wild, it's like anything to you, again, that would be like I don't know why these examples keep coming to my brain, but like I keep getting like messages that are like, it to me is like the imagery of like going to like a really primp and like proper event, and then you decide to be like out on the dance floor like grinding up against somebody. Like it's something that we would be like, oh, that's so provocative, or like we would label that person as like a slut or a whore, when in reality we're just like using our bodily vessel to move energy through it. And it's not actually provocative or promiscuous, or like we put such whack labels. You get what I'm getting at. Hopefully I'm making sense here. I'm not saying you need to go out and do that. My point here is like, it's whatever to me makes you feel just like slightly out of your comfort zone, when it is something that like is so normal. I hope that's making sense. I hope the examples are helping. Like it's not something that is like going to be off the wall. It's like things that I feel like make you uncomfortable, but only because you have been like trained or basically programmed to believe that these are things that you should never do because that's embarrassing and you're going to bring like dishonor on your family or something. So it's things that like this, you getting wild could literally be being in a family of people that are very academic and you decide to be an artist. Like that could be your wild. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not about like going out and partying and doing drugs. Like that's not the wild that we're talking about. It's things that you've maybe been programmed to believe that aren't necessarily true. Like it is more than okay to be an artist or a creative when you come from a line of academics. In fact, it would probably be refreshing for the world to see something different cranked out from a family system that has done the same thing over and over again. So get wild. This is your year to really get wild and explore. Now, the next prompt that we have is departing energies from last year. So we have the Explorer. Oh, this is cute. I love that you got this card accompanying this, because to me, the Explorer is really all about like exploring new things, exploring new avenues, exploring yourself in new ways. And because this is a departing energy, what that tells me is you have done a lot of self-exploration in 2022. You maybe have done just so much. You like maybe when I pulled this Get Wild card, you were like, girl, sis, we've already fucking done that. We have already gotten wild. We have already explored new avenues. We are not the same person that we were last year, like in 2021. And that very well could be true because you explored a lot of things about yourself. Maybe you left a job, left a schooling program, left a marriage, right? There are so many big things that, especially with last year's astrology, ooh, Chile. There's a lot that you explored within yourself last year. And honestly, whatever hardships you experienced in 2022, they were to help you explore new areas of yourself that you never would have explored otherwise. So just keep that in mind. If you've been judging yourself really harshly, that is something that Spirit wants you to know. But this is something you're not going to have to do as much this year. You kind of already have an angle from which you are coming at life now. And you like, this to me is like, if you have a plan, you need to stop gathering intel. Now, don't get me wrong. There is always room to perfect a craft, always. But I feel like we are beyond the ideas stage. And maybe there is like, that is what you like haven't been doing, is actually putting the inspired action behind the things that you want to create. And that is going to be the focus of this year. You are no longer exploring ideas or trying to figure out what you want to do now that you've made some changes. You have ideas. You need to just start putting them into action. So that to me is what we're letting go of, is like exploring new avenues. It's time to actually put like, I don't want to say put your head down and get to work, because that is such like, ew, that gives me the ick because I don't think we need to work like that. But I feel like ultimately it's more about following what lights you up, what inspires you, and actually putting action in instead of avoiding it. Now, the next thing is talents you will be expressing this year. We have fate. So I like this as a talent personally, because fate, this is all about like being a co-creator of your divine reality, of the things that you want to see happen in your life. So what I like about this is like, this to me says, if you're somebody that's been like, oh, everybody around me always gets what they want, they're always manifesting, or like my best friend is always getting what she wants, and I love that for her, but when is it going to be my turn, you know? And that's okay. Like, I want you to know that when you see people around you getting the things that you want, you need to remember that this is the universe is just a mirror, literally. Everything that we see, it shows us a piece of ourselves. And that doesn't mean that if you see a serial killer that you have an internal serial killer, okay? It's not like that. It's that how can we connect to the different aspects of ourselves? And what I mean by that is, you know, let's say that everybody around you seems to, you know, have a thriving business or making a bunch of income, or has the marriage you want, or the house that you want, or the car that you want, or you just witness it a lot. I have to tell you something, especially if these people are very close to you, this is a strong indication that you already have that inside of you. And you actually are a co-creator of your destiny. You are a co-creator of your own fate, and you get to decide what threads you want to weave into your fate. And this being a talent, this to me says that this year is when you're finally going to believe it. Some like amazing things are going to happen in 2023 that are going to make you realize, oh my gosh, I actually am the weaver. I actually am a co-creator. I actually do manifest. This isn't just for like other people and not me. This is for me too. And I love that. It's beautiful. That's such like a great, like what a great talent for your year. And the next prompt is future opportunities this year. So you have the universe. Wow, such big energy. I feel like especially if you have really not felt like you've received a lot of gifts, this is definitely going to be a year of like divine intervention, but like in a good way. Divine intervention for like receiving really awesome gifts, receiving really awesome things, like dreams of yours, because the universe, this card is all about being in touch with like the natural cycles of life, being one with the universe. Again, kind of similar to fate, where the fate card is all about like weaving what you want into this reality. The universe card is about like being so relaxed about it that you know that you are being taken care of. You know that you are divinely protected. You understand and can communicate through your higher self with the universe. Something that I like to remind y'all is you can always communicate with the universe because you always have access to your higher self. And your higher self is the bridge between your conscious mind and the cosmos and the universe and God. Like the higher self is, to me, what like the unconscious is, but it is still like we can access that energy. It is the bridge that helps us to do the communicating. So as for future opportunities, I almost want to pull like the book on this one. Where is my book? Here we go. I just want to look and take a little peek and make sure I'm not missing anything. So this card asks you to fully trust that there is a plan for you and that you have the support of the unseen. There are forces at play much larger than you could imagine. Surrender to that which you cannot control and trust in the idea that spirit is always orchestrating what is most needed. This card may come at a time when a cycle or trial is also coming to a close. Praise any what if questions in a positive way. What if this is going to be okay? What if this is exactly as it should be? Sometimes we become paralyzed in the physical world because we're waiting for spirit to show us the way. However, the universe co-creates with us. We must be empowered as humans in this dense reality to show up for what we want and trust that spirit will do the same. If you are someone who is always asking for signs, try to take a break from that and trust yourself. So remember, this is showing up in future opportunities. So that's really what I was getting at, is like you really are supported. And the reason that this is an opportunity is, do you know, myself included, I think we all do this. Even if we know that we're supported, everybody falls prey to the lies of their limiting subconscious beliefs. Everybody falls prey to catastrophizing sometimes. Everybody falls prey to that like anxious feeling of, oh no, this is bad. This is bad. I'm feeling rushed. I'm feeling anxious. This is not going to work out. And to me, seeing this as an opportunity, it's like maybe for the first time in many years, you're going to feel like you can relax because you are trusting. And let me tell you something, pile number two. As y'all know, I am big on sharing my own personal stories when it comes to channeling and tarot card reading, because that is how I learn best from other people, from mentors, is by hearing their stories. So I'm very much a storyteller and a channeler. So I'll try to keep it brief, but I want to share something with you. I feel like I maybe should also write this down and like share it in a podcast episode too, like a longer version. But for the past, like, y'all know, I have been in my Saturn return. I have Saturn natally in Aquarius, and I've been going through it. Like, y'all, if you listen to the podcast, I also did a whole video on my mental health in 2022 where I really opened up in a big way about this. But a lot of that put me in a state of survival where I felt like I couldn't trust, I couldn't manifest, I couldn't do anything but be afraid. And only within the last like 6 months have things really, really, really improved. And I feel like my old self again, and I feel like I can live my life in peace. And over the last like 2 weeks in particular, now trigger warning, I am going to talk a little bit about drug use. So if that is something that makes you uncomfortable, something that is a trigger to you, just fast forward about 5 minutes. I'm somebody that I've been hospitalized multiple times for not like, that makes it sound so bad. I am disabled. Like, I have been in the hospital multiple times. I've had lots of surgery, corrective surgery, and with that surgery, oftentimes narcotics are prescribed. And I've never been addicted to narcotics. I've never had like an issue with narcotics. But something that I noted in like 2016, I went through an experience where I was hospitalized like multiple times for a gallbladder issue that was going undiagnosed. And they would often send me home with narcotics. And I would always tell my husband, like, I'm going to be fine, but I understand why people get addicted to these. Like, I'm so stressed out, and I feel like, my body was under all kinds of stress. I didn't know what was wrong. And I would tell my husband constantly, I really understand why people become addicted to these. Like, I'm okay. When these are gone, I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to go seek them out. But the way that my body is able to relax is just like another world. And I'd been dealing with so much anxiety at that point in my life. Now, fast forward to 2021, where I'm having all these mental health problems. Never once did I seek the help of narcotics, but there is a point to me bringing this up, is that just recently, over the last couple of weeks, I've really felt, actually, I would say over the last month, it's been like a very gradual process. At points in time, I get this like feeling where it is to me the same feeling that I would have on narcotics, where my body starts to so fully relax that it almost feels like it's being supplemented by something. And I kept asking myself, like, what the hell is this feeling? This feels so weird. It feels good, but it feels weird. Like, this is reminding me of a time period in my life where I had to take narcotics for pain. And this is weird that like this sensation is happening when I'm not taking anything. And it finally dawned on me like a week and a half ago, Kloee, this is what it feels like to not be in survival mode. This is what it feels like to actually relax and know that you're taken care of. This is what it feels like to not feel like you have to struggle. And you've been struggling for so many years that you've forgotten what it feels like to actually relax deeply in your body. And yeah, long story short, it actually got me like super in my feelings. I started crying and I was talking to my husband and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so weird. Like again, I understand why people struggle with that kind of an addiction. If there is a lot of emotional problems going on under the surface, a lot of worry, anxiety, stress. And this is why I am so sensitive to people's plights that deal with addiction of any kind, because it is sometimes, it's hard to get access for help with those things. I feel like, especially, at least I can speak for America because I'm here, like it's so hard to get access to counseling to help to actually process those things. And so I also bring all of this up. Y'all know that like I lost a sibling in 2017 to drug overdose. So like that is something that is really important to me to shed awareness on, like supporting people through addiction instead of blaming and shaming. But anyways, all of this to say, I'm telling you this because this universe card to me is that feeling. It is that feeling of deep relaxation after a time period of a lot of high stress. And you might notice that there are sensations in your body that you're not used to. And it could very much feel like the way that I just described to you. It might not feel like that. Everybody's different. But don't be alarmed if you're like, what the hell is this feeling? Because it could actually be something that is so beneficial. Notice if it makes you feel good, right? And this is actually something that is going to be like an opportunity for you, because when you create this like positive feeling in your life, you are going to create more and more and more of that. You're able to generate more of it. That's why when you're like falling, I want to say it was Anita that said this, but when you're falling in love, like it's such a positive time to manifest because all of those happy dopamine, good chemicals are happening in your body. And so when you manifest, it's so easy during that time period, because when you manifest, it literally like your emotions and your feelings and like what you are vibrating, the frequency you are vibrating at is what is being sent out to be received back. So when like you're in a really positive state of mind, that's why it's so effortless and easy to manifest more of it. But don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean that you need to be positive all the time. It doesn't mean if you think bad thoughts that those bad things are going to happen. I actually think that's a really toxic way of thinking about manifestation. It doesn't mean, like, this is honestly why we don't have instant manifestation, and it's a good thing that we don't. But recognize that like it's okay to have an off day, an off week, an off month. And it doesn't mean that horrible things are just going to wreak havoc on your life, but also capitalize on this. This is an opportunity for you to bring more of that goodness, that calm feeling into your life. Now, what are your upcoming obstacles? we have get curious. So the reason I think this is an obstacle, I think this one is actually very short, sweet, and to the point, pile number 2. The reason that this is an obstacle for you is because your curious mind really, really, really wants to learn, and it takes away your focus from what you're trying to create. So it's okay to be curious and open, but don't let your curiosity get the best of you in the sense that you get completely derailed from what you're trying to do this year. Now, that one to me was really cut and dry. The next thing is how to deal with the upcoming obstacle. We have reflect. So ask yourself, in the past, when you let your curiosity kind of overwhelm you almost, or when you like can't leave something alone, or you feel like you're just not putting your dedicated focus into something, you're letting your curiosity just like, this can be, gosh, I'll speak for myself here. I feel like when I let my curiosity run the show 24/7, I'm on social media 24/7. I am refreshing my Twitter feed. I am on Twitch watching other people stream. I'm watching all the YouTube videos, falling down all the YouTube rabbit holes, and I'm getting nothing done because I've spent all day like researching things I want to buy on Amazon and like, falling down like every rabbit hole that you possibly can. And Spirit is saying that the best way to counter this and to like get things done is to basically reflect on how this pattern and this behavior has affected you negatively. How this pattern has affected you. Mercury is in the microwave. How this pattern has affected you negatively in the past. How has it kept you from being able to do what you're trying to do? Because this has already happened in the past and it's not served you. So that's like your best way to deal with it, is to reflect and remind yourself that you're building a different future. And lastly, how to achieve your goals and dreams this year. We have versatility. So I'm actually going to pull the book on this card because I've only seen it a handful of times and I am not well versed in this one. I feel like I know this deck pretty forwards and backwards, but this card I am not familiar with. It's not one that I recognize. So versatility states, pulling this card may indicate a time where you're coming up against a lot of resistance. So this was how to make your dreams and wishes come true this year. Whether internally or externally, a lot of times we focus on one thing very intensely and push hard despite being shown that the timing is off. What can be helpful in those situations is to move on to other things so that the energy is freed up and you can go back to it when the timing is right. This card teaches us to be flexible and go along with what is being presented to us, even if it may not be what we want. Rather than trying to force things that are not ready, it may also indicate a need for approaching the situation directly. If you don't feel it is about stepping back, examine how you can shift what is already there. I feel like that is an answer all in and of itself, so I'm not going to elaborate on that one more, but ultimately, I feel like this year you have a lot of really big positive things coming up, a lot of manifestation actually coming true this year. I feel like there are some years that are answers and some years that are questions. This to me is very much an answer year for you, not a questions year. And I want to pull an affirmation card for you. And I also want to pull one of these soul whisper cards for you. So we're going to start with the soul whisper for you for your year. You are a child of the universe. What an honor it is to be part of something so divine. So beautiful. I love that. And I'm also going to pull an affirmation for you. All the links to the decks that I use down below, by the way. Ooh. Today is a sacred gift from life. So again, don't get carried away with oh no, every day's a gift. I need to capitalize on every single day or I'm wasting my time. If it doesn't help you, throw it out. But if it helps you to remember that every day is a gift, even on those days where you don't really want to get up and keep going, that can be a really helpful affirmation to keep. So that is what I have for you, pile number 2 for 2023. Thank you so much for witnessing me, for letting me talk about that story. I know it was kind of a weird one. I'm really trying this year to honor my authentic expression and not over explain everything in my life anymore. Because I feel like I often let comments get to me that tell me, like, oh, you talk about yourself too much. And then when I reflect on it, I remind myself that all of my mentors are people that their stories have impacted me, and that's how I learn the best. And I want to give that learning experience to other people. So thank you so much for seeing me, allowing me to show up as my authentic self, and for letting me channel this message. I really appreciate you. If nobody's told you yet this year, I love you, I love you, I love you. And don't forget to check out my Patreon. I would really appreciate it. It really does support me as a creator to get to create here in the way that I do. I love it so much. I love the events that we host. I love, last year we did a book club a couple of times, and that was really fun. The weekly energy is like such a great place. That's also where all of my lifestyle content goes. I no longer post vlogs here on YouTube or anything that is like lifestyle related. Everything is over on Patreon now. Like there's stuff here that I used to create, but now it goes directly to Patreon. So if you want to see more of that, definitely check it out. And what else can I tell you about? I feel like I'm forgetting something here. Oh, don't forget as well to check out the podcast Divine Authenticity. I have huge plans for Divine Authenticity this year, so you do not want to miss out when those things launch. I'm just tickled about everything that's coming. So definitely make sure that you are following the podcast. Links for that are down below. And if you would like to, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. Please leave me a comment and a like. It really helps my videos to get seen more. Share this with somebody that you think really needs a pick-me-up for 2023. And if you would like to support me in a non-free way, I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you. If you would like to send me a tip, I would certainly appreciate it. I always pour it back into the channel for cards, decks, candles, incense, anything that helps me to create. Unless you tell me. Sometimes people send me tips and they're like, girl, go get some sushi. What are you doing? Which I think is so sweet. I always try to honor that. So unless you leave me a note to do something different with it, I always pour it back into the channel. So thank you so much for your time, for your energy. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. I know it's a little bit brighter in here, and that is because now I'm working in the daylight. I'm not doing nighttime like I was when I started the video, so I know it's really bright in here right now. But I'm going to go ahead and start with your intention candle. So you chose the purple candle if you chose this candle. And this candle, purple is the color of like femininity, psychic nature. It also does correspond to the astrological sign of Sagittarius. Purple is Sagittarius's color. And so you could be wanting to attract, manifest, get clear on those things. But please feel free to use this candle for whatever you want. If you want to create a new version of yourself for 2023, if there's a sector of your life you want to change, something you want to sustain, something you want to, like a habit you want to sustain or a habit you want to get rid of, please feel free to put any intention you want on this candle. And definitely you can like stop the video and write your intentions down if you want to. You don't have to just, rush yourself through this process. I am going to lead you through a meditation with this, but feel free to like pause and get clear on what that is that you're wanting to bring in, because this candle, not only is it going to work, but it is going to be infused with anybody who chose this candle's intentions too. And that is going to supercharge this and make it extremely powerful and extremely potent. So it's really important that you be clear. And I'm going to go ahead and just put this candle. Actually, do I want to put it in there already? Yeah, I'll go ahead and put it in here. My goodness, this lighter has been giving me trouble all day today. So if you didn't know, you got to burn the bottom of your candle a little bit to get it to stand up straight. It's like you fuse the wax to like basically the base. And that's how you get your candles to stand up in their holders. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do the meditation first, and then we'll come back and light the candles. So I'm going to go ahead and lead you through that now. I want you to go ahead, just before we take the enchanted lighter and light her up, I want you to go ahead and place your your right hand over your heart, just right in the center of your chest, and your left hand over your belly button. And this is what is called a safe hold. It actually nudges the nervous system towards relaxation because it creates safety in the body by feeling supported by you, especially if you apply a little bit of gentle pressure. Doesn't that just feel nice? Almost like a hug. And we're just going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth in your own time. You don't have to follow my breathing pattern. And on the exhale, I really want you to drop your shoulders, drop your jaw, and like give me like a ah sound, like really let it out. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on my own breathing time frame, but like don't feel like you have to rush to keep pace with me or go longer. Okay. So just 3 of those. Again. And again. And while you're in this position, I want you just to think about, basically, I always imagine it like a sparkling white light or a gold light, starting at my crown and just kind of tracing the outline of my body. And I just want you to imagine any cords that you have attached to 2022 or to people, to places, to past events. Maybe it even goes back farther than 2022. I just want you to imagine this golden light gently severing those ties as it outlines your body. So we're going to go from the crown, and this beautiful light, it casts around all of your body as it goes down. So we're going to start at the crown. We're just going to feel that light coming down over the eyes, over the nose, over your mouth, over your ears, your chin, your neck, over your heart, your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips, your torso, your back, your belly, your pelvis, down over your thighs and hips, your calves, your heels, your toes. Let's just take another deep breath and sigh on the exhale. One more. And as we sit in this beautiful energy, just imagine any cords and ties from the past that have been holding you back or maybe siphoning your power, they are just melting away. Your body is feeling lighter and lighter. With every breath in, you're getting lighter. And with every exhale, you're removing any dense energy internally. Okay. Now I want you to call forth whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into this reality. Whatever it is that you're wanting to bring in to this reality with you. If there is, maybe you have like a whole vision for your 2023 or whatever year you're listening to this. Maybe you have a whole vision, okay? I want you to call forth that vision. See yourself in first person. Look down at your hands. In that new career, that new home, that new relationship. What's around you? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What can you see? What are the details of this new, fresh year? With all the blessings that are literally conspiring to come into your life right now. I want you to see them and feel what it would feel like to have them right now. If any sensations come up that make you feel like you're going to doubt this reality that you're seeing and creating for yourself, I want you to lovingly remind yourself that the moment you decide on what you want your reality to be, the universe literally conspires on your behalf to bring everything into your life that you could ever dream up. If it is desired by you, it is destined for you. I want you just to take a few more moments to feel this new reality sinking in for you. You're calling it into your life. And take one more big, deep breath. Relax into those feelings. When you feel ready, I want you to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Take a deep stretch if you'd like to. And open your eyes. All right, we're going to go ahead and light this candle now. So this candle, like I said, it's infused with everybody's intentions. This is going to be so powerful. And this is basically going to act like an offering to the universe, God, your higher self, the source, whatever it is. I use those words interchangeably, to be honest. Maybe not higher self and universe. I feel like the higher self is the bridge to the universe, but whatever works for you, I think is perfectly fine. But I'm going to go ahead and light this, getting our intentions out there, letting them be known to the universe. Feels correct. Okay, I am going to be letting this kind of burn in the corner of our reading today, and we're just going to have that for, I will let it burn like all the way out on its own. You probably won't see it all burn down in this video, but I will let it burn all the way out with our intentions from all of us, and just rest assured that it's coming. Whatever it is you set intention for, it's coming. And now we're going to go ahead and do your book divination from Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. We're just going to flip to a random page. Okay. This one says F you God. This is going to be interesting. I'm excited to read this. So please know, especially any of you that have like religious trauma, I always want to make space for you here because I know what that feels like as somebody that grew up really religious. I know what that feels like to not feel a kinship with what God is considered. And maybe you're somebody that doesn't believe in God at all. So just know that you're welcome here and just replace God with whatever it is that you prefer. So, F you God. This is page 20 to 21. This is the message that Spirit wants you to hear. Fast forward to 2012. 6 months after returning from my grace-filled experience in Chicago, I knew I needed to heal the lineage piece of grief that reminded my soul remained, and my soul called me to go on a silent retreat to Assisi with my friend Robin. We spent the mornings and evenings deep in meditation while our days were given over to walking the wildflower-filled trail of St. Francis Church, hopping and gorging on orgasmic Italian food. Well, it would have been rude not to. After meditation on the third night, I was overcome with this unexpected and unrecognizable hot red rage bubbling up from the depths of my core. Unable to talk, very frustrating. I grabbed my moleskin and headed for the hills, which like moleskin's like a journal, I suppose. On a bench in the middle of a field under a swollen Virgo moon, I started writing furiously. That turned out to be a hate letter to God. Through desperate sobs, I let it all out. I ranted and raved to God, demanding to know, what have I done to deserve all of this? Why, no matter how hard I've tried to hold everything together and do the right thing, still nothing has worked out? Why do you expect me to believe in you if you don't even have the balls to show your face? I was pissed off, big time. Ever since I was a little girl, I had the unwavering knowing that God or the universe existed. And so, for a believer, I felt totally ripped off and unsupported. I held nothing back. Through angry sobs, I ranted on for pages with my pen, at times piercing through to the next page. When I had finally got it all out, I felt an overwhelming sense of calm and my sobbing ceased. All of a sudden, the energy around me shifted, and I watched as my hand started moving on its own accord. Ooh, I got the chills. As my hand moved across the page, I realized that God was writing her response. You asked for this, don't you remember? You said you weren't ready to answer your calling until you had some life experiences. Well, you have your lessons and your stories just like you asked. Now, Rebecca, it's time to get to work. In an instant, I recalled all the pleas I'd made when I was younger. I understood that my suffering didn't happen to me, it happened for me. I took a deep breath, gathered my notebook, and marched myself back to my room. I was ready. Finally, I was ready. Tucked into bed, gazing out my window at the star-filled night sky, knowing that tomorrow was going to be a very new day, I started writing this book the next day. So, ooh, what a powerful message. What a powerful message in the sense that, like, I understand this message. I have been there. I have been at that point in my life where I have felt hard and like truly done by the universe and just completely over it. Like, I have been in those moments of just pure pissed energy, pure hot fire rage of just like, I have done everything you asked. I'm a good person. This, and this. Why the fuck aren't you giving me what I've asked for? Why isn't this working? And I've got to tell you, this exercise that Rebecca is talking about in this book, it works for everybody. You can sit down in that rage-filled space and you will get a written answer response. That's something that I myself have practiced. I've read that a lot of people have done it. It does work. You can actually get automatic writing to work, especially if you're really in a space that you're ready to receive an answer. You can get direction and answer. So, really good way to open this here, especially if you feel like the last few years have just been really, really, really hard for you, I think that that's a really great exercise to kick your year off. The second thing I want to say is that your candle wick is huge. Like, the flame is big, but like the wick itself, usually when candles burn down, like the wick kind of shrinks with the candle. Your candle wick is not shrinking and the wax is just melting. So that's giving me interesting energy. I feel like you are like refusing to go down without a fight in any area of your life. You are refusing to give up on this dream, give up on yourself. And against all odds, you have persevered, is like the message that I'm hearing. So now we're going to go ahead and get into your card reading, and we're going to address 7 different areas in your life. So the main theme of the new year is going to be, your new year is going to be 1, departing energies from last year, talents you'll be expressing this year, future opportunities, upcoming obstacles, how to deal with upcoming obstacles, and how to achieve your goals and dreams this year. So we're going to go ahead and use the Lumen Oracle, the Threads of Fate Lumen Oracle. And I'm just going to give these one good shuffle really quick. And then I also have an affirmation card for you, as well as a Soul Whispers card. Okay. So the main theme for your year is versatility. And this card is all about, I love this card. We actually just got it in pile number 2. It was like in a different position, but the versatility card, this one is all about a time where you might be coming up with a lot of resistance in your life. And let me just show this to you a little bit closer. Ugh, I love these cards. They're so pretty. Out of all of the Threads of Fate oracles that I have, like all the renditions, this one's my favorite. I just think it's so, the pastel vibes. I'm just into it. Okay, sorry, getting a little sidetracked. So this is about, basically, it doesn't matter if it's an internal or an external resistance. It's that you really want to like focus intently and push hard, but you're being asked to let yourself be versatile. Don't push so hard. Allow yourself the time and the space to actually like give energy to what you want to give energy to, and then come back to other things that you are feeling stressed out by or things you don't want to focus on when you feel more ready. So I feel like, especially if you're somebody that feels like things have to go in a certain chronological order, just allow yourself to be a little more versatile. Allow yourself the space and the grace to explore life without so many hard limits. And I think you're going to have a much easier time this year, but we're still going to keep looking into it. So I also feel like the more you let yourself like ease into that versatility, the easier this year is going to be for you. So departing energies from last year, we have, oh, this is a nice card to have here. We have the card of withdrawal. So I like this card. Oh, I love these cards, but they're so bright in this light setting. I'm sorry to my editor. I'm going to mess with not that way. There we go. That's a little better. Sorry to my editor. I just felt like these cards are just so bright that they're hard to see. Oops. Okay, is that better? No, that's too far. Maybe like that. Okay, we'll try that. But withdraw, I feel like this is a really nice card to receive for energy that we're letting go of this year from last year, because maybe you did feel really withdrawn last year. Maybe you felt really on your own, really lonely, not really like, but I also think that the energy of withdraw can be a welcomed thing too. It can be like you want to withdraw from the world more. You want to stay in more. You're not as social. You're not meeting new people. You're not volunteering or connecting to communities more. And I feel like this is an energy that you're leaving in 2022. You're actually going to start to feel more like connected to community this year, more connected to others. You might even find that you meet some new people, make some new friends. And I think this is going to be a really excellent year for that because you're departing from this. Then the talents you'll be expressing this year. We have the wildling. Okay, so the wildling, I promise you, these cards are not being done any justice right now in this reading. The lighting in here is just frankly too bright for them, but they really are beautiful. Like, take my word for it, in person, these cards are gorgeous. They're just having a little bit of a hard time showing up on camera today. For whatever reason, I've tried to manage all the settings. But with the wildling card, the wildling is... it is about like tapping into more of your like wild nature. It's a very primal card. It's really about feeling like raw and empowered and independent. It's like basically the energy of last year, withdrawing and being on your own, it actually really served you for this year, because this year, even though you're not feeling as withdrawn, you're going to be more social, more invested in things and people. It's like, you know what energy you bring to the table, and you're not scared to eat by yourself. You're not scared to have a boundary. You're not scared to meet new people, but be your authentic self, because you don't care if people leave. Like, it's almost like in the past, friendships or people or communities or groups were really scary to you. But as you learned more about yourself and how fabulous you are, you're not scared to be independent. You're not scared to be on your own. And this actually makes you one of like the most powerful people. I feel like somebody that knows their worth and their value, especially when it comes to having boundaries with others. It's a very powerful position to be in, and it can scare people sometimes, because even if you're not like being outwardly aggressive or anything like that, the energy of that can make people automatically at a dis-ease if they themselves do not handle themselves that way, if they don't have appropriate boundaries. If like, this to me is almost like an overcoming of people pleasing and being able to actually authentically connect with others, because you love your own company. You're not afraid to be alone. Like, you're not going to put up with people ghosting or being flaky, or that's what it says to me, is like, you're not afraid to speak the things that you need into this existence. And people are either going to honor that or they aren't. And if they don't, you have no problem being on your own. So I actually really like that. I feel like you're also really in sync with your primal instinct, with your body, with what you need. So beautiful, beautiful. Future opportunities for your year. We have release. Okay, I love this too. For basically like anything that hasn't been serving you, especially when it comes to like what makes you feel free, what makes you feel like you can advance forward in your life. You are going to be releasing outdated beliefs that do not serve the person that you are, the person that you've become. And I see this as a really beautiful thing. I mean, release is always nice. Sometimes it can be difficult, but I feel like as an opportunity, it's like things that you never thought you would be capable of letting go, especially beliefs about yourself that you've harbored. You're finally able to let them go and like leapfrog into a new way of being. So very positive for 2023. Now, the upcoming obstacles, this is funny. Pile number 2 got the same obstacle. Pile number 2 and maybe y'all need to be friends so y'all can help each other through this. You got get curious. And this card, to me, when it comes up as an obstacle, this means that you need to make sure that you are staying focused in your life, because don't get me wrong, I, as a Sagittarius rising woman, I am never going to tell you that being curious is a bad thing. I am a firm believer that, like, yeah, sure, curiosity killed the cat, but you know what? That cat had fucking 9 lives. So, like, I am a firm believer of falling down every rabbit hole, learning everything that you want to learn. I'm never, like, literally, you will never get that advice from me to, like, not be curious. I think curiosity is honestly something that this world needs more of. But when it comes to getting curious as an obstacle, This to me is a lack of focus. You're so curious about everything around you that you let that curiosity get away with itself and you're not able to stay focused or dedicated to things as easily as you would like to. So just keep that in mind as you're moving through this year. This is something that has the ability to really kind of slow you down with what you're trying to do, accomplish. This is something that can really slow you down. This is something that, to me, like if I could give you an example where this shows up in my life is I'll have the highest intentions to like make a bunch of readings on one day. And then I'll sit down at my computer in the morning to plan my day. And I'll just start looking at fucking Amazon or like YouTube, or I'll be like, oh yeah, I really wanted to learn about like these heatless curls. And then before I know it, it's been like 3 hours. I've watched every YouTube video there ever was to exist on heatless curls. I've looked at every Amazon review on every product that people swear by. And suddenly I'm like, oh shit, my work time is like half over. What was I even doing? So I feel like that to me is like an example of how getting curious, it's like getting carried away by like following every single rabbit hole down. And just really try to keep that in check. This can also come up as like binging TV shows where you tell yourself you're only going to watch 2 episodes, and before you know it, you've watched 13 and the day's over. So it doesn't mean that you can't indulge in those things this year. It just means that you really need to hone it in and make sure that you're spending time where you actually want to spend it. Want me to tell you the best secret, in my opinion, to fixing this problem? This is like my tried and true method. It works every single time. Ask yourself, while you are in the middle of something like scrolling on social media, falling down every rabbit hole, binge watching TV, ask yourself, what is my intention with this? What is my intention with watching this show? What is my intention with being on social media right now? What is my intention with learning about heatless curls? Okay. And if your intention, like let's say your intention is to zone out and relax, and that's really what you're needing right now, that's okay. That is perfectly okay to sit there and binge watch that show because it's in alignment with your intention. But if your intention for the day is not to do that and is to spend your time learning about a certain sector of something you're trying to build in your life, or if your intention is to get outside more, like, is this honoring your intention? No. And I swear to you, it's like the foolproof method that I have been able to ask myself if I'm living intentionally. And like I said, sometimes I'm like, oh, my intention is to learn about heatless curls and this is like what I want to do. I'll let myself have that. Or my intention is to solidify a faster morning routine so I can like go to bed at night with my hair in like a curl pattern so I can wake up and my hair's done and it makes like my day better, right? So like, again, sometimes these things are fine, but we just need to check in with what our intention is. And I think that will really help you. So moving on to the how to deal with upcoming obstacles. I know I kind of just gave that to you, but let's see what Spirit has to say as well. We have power. Ooh, okay, but I feel like the answer I gave you is kind of the same. So allow me to explain. With living intentionally, you need to also ask yourself, what is siphoning my power? Is Netflix siphoning my power? Is Amazon siphoning my power? Is social media siphoning my power? What is taking my power from me? And even if it's us making a choice and like letting our power go, it's, to me, when you ask yourself how you want to live in your power, in your intention, to me, your intention is your power. So if you want to live that way, to me, this is how to overcome that, is to stand in your power and to remind yourself of what your intention is. So I feel like I don't even need to explain that one. And then how to achieve your dreams and goals this year. Ooh, you got a really powerful card. You got You got the death card. I love it. I'm going to explain to you why I love this, but also it's just such a pretty card. So the death card, in terms of how to achieve your dreams and goals this year, let whatever comes come in, let whatever goes go. The death card is ultimate transformation, right? It's not literally dying. The death card is transcendence. It's letting go and surrendering the things that don't serve us, the person that we used to be that we no longer are. And death can also be a really important factor in achieving our dreams and goals, because that is like the one certain that we have. Not to be so morbid or bring anybody down, but like death is the one finish line that we're all racing towards. We all have that in common. All of us will die. And even if that thought makes you uncomfortable, it is like the one true certain thing that we have. And with death, like that can be very motivating. It can, like, not like actually facing death and like that being the motivator. I mean, that can be a motivator. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. My point is like, I feel like there are two different ways to look at death. We can look at it like, we just die anyway. Life is so meaningless. Or we can look at it from the perspective of, we're all going to die someday. So how do I want to live today? How do I want to intentionally live if I know that death is the one consistent and the one assured thing? But I'm also going to read to you this card because I want to know what this actually says. I don't know that I've read this one or not. I know, like I said, I know this deck pretty well, but I'm just curious what they say about it. So, death. This card signals that an ending, change, or metaphorical death is currently happening. It may feel like the universe is stripping things from you, but you may feel shaken, raw, and uncertain. This is okay. This period is a preparation for what is to come. New adventure and abundance is making its way to you, and it needs space. Sometimes we can get too focused on things we need to get rid of, or things that need to die, that we are not inviting new things into our life. When we bring in more life, it is easier to allow things to die. If you find yourself in a period of death, try to incorporate some new things you can enjoy to create balance. So I also think that this is also about making space in your life for all of the newness that is coming, especially with release too. Like, for example, let's say that like you really want to manifest a fully electric car, okay? But you don't really have room for it, right? Your garage is full of cars and you don't have a driveway in this scenario, okay? You don't have anywhere to put it. But you go out and you buy the car anyway, and then you come home. Where the fuck are you supposed to put the car? In order to make room for that car, you need to clean out the space for it. So this isn't just metaphorical death of you, like metaphorical things in your life changing. This is also death as it pertains to making space for new things to come. So it's the same way that if you want to buy a bunch of clothes, don't buy those clothes until you go through your closet and donate things that you no longer wear. Because if you have nowhere to put them, there's no point, right? You're just making more mess and more chaos in your house. And if you want to make room for a business in your life, let's say you want to like launch something new. Maybe you want to launch a podcast this year. You know, if you want to launch something new, you need to make the space for it. So where is the podcast set going to be? Where's the microphone going to be? What do you envision for that space? Where are you going to record? What is the podcast host? What things in your house need to be shifted to make room for this new setup, right? That's what I mean. Like, clean out the space for it. One of my favorite stories in my life of this is, I don't know if y'all remember, but I vlogged it in 2020, I think. There's a vlog on my YouTube channel where in this vlog, I had ordered a new couch, and it was a big deal. Like this was something that I couldn't afford for years and years and years. And I finally like had the money to do it. And I was so excited, but we had such shipping constraints because of COVID, right? We had such strict shipping constraints. And because of that, the couch was on back order. I received half of the couch and the other half didn't come for like almost 6 months. We waited for the other half of the couch. But the funny thing is the furniture company kept calling me and they would tell me they had a delivery date. We would schedule the delivery date and then they would tell me, oh, never mind, it's not coming. This literally happened like 6 different times. I was at my wit's end with this. And the funny thing is when I looked at my living room, it wasn't ready for a couch. It wasn't ready for the other half. There was stuff everywhere. I had like boxes from IKEA sitting there where I had bought other furniture that year. Like there was just stuff everywhere. And that day, like on one particular day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to clean up the space and like get ready for this couch to come, because even though our date has been really uncertain, I'm just going to make space for it anyways, because I need to. Like if the couch came today, there's no room for it. So I need to just do this. And so I cleaned up the space. Literally the next day, the rest of the couch was delivered. And I feel like that is not a pure example of like the universe wants to give to you, but you need to make space for that to come. So it's the same. And it's not like a pull yourself up by your bootstraps and fucking get to it. I hate that mentality. It's, do it in your own time, in your own way, at your own pace, but make sure that you're putting some inspired action behind it and you're making space for what you want in your life. Like, if you want to be somebody that makes a certain amount of money, is your bank account ready to receive that? Is all of your stuff set up appropriately to receive? Make the space for it. If you're trying to open up a business, do you have everything ready for that? Do you have your LLC? Do you have your business card? Like what company you think you're going to want to open with in the future figured out? Do you have, I don't even know. I'm just spitballing here. The point is you need to make space for the thing to come through, because that is how it's going to come to you in the easiest way. So clean out whatever is there. Like literally just the other day, if I could add something else to this, I placed a clothing order literally last night, and I was feeling all these weird feelings of like guilt and stress and fear. And it just came out of nowhere. I got like super anxious. And I was like, Kloee, what is this? And I realized I was feeling guilty because I have a mountain of laundry in my closet right now that needs to be done. And like most of my clothes in my closet either don't fit or they're things that I don't wear. And I need to go through my closet. And I realized I was feeling an overwhelming sense of anxiety and guilt because there's no space for these clothes to land. And so I canceled the order and I told myself, you can come back and order these clothes when you make the space for them to show up. But right now, this is not the time. And I felt an immense sense of relief. So I still haven't cleaned my closet or done my laundry, but that's something that I made a pact with myself that I have to make the energetic space, donate some clothes before I bring some new things in. So that's what I'm saying with death is like, let go of what doesn't serve and make the space. And I'm going to go ahead and pull a Soul Whisper card for you first. And then we're also going to pull an affirmation for your year. So this is like a big year of like release for you. Release, change, and stepping into your power. I honestly think you're someone that probably is really well versed in releasing. Like you might be just somebody that has done a lot of work around that. So this might not even be something that's super difficult for you. So we have, put your bare feet on the damp earth, stand in the sun, feel the rain on your skin, ground yourself. So spend more time in nature, grounding yourself this year. That's going to help you. And then let's get you an affirmation card. Ooh, there it is, baby. Did you see that? I trust my inner voice. Ooh, that's a good one. Again, this is your year of power, okay? This is your year of power, calling it back to you. So I love this for you. Thank you so much, pile number 3, for letting me read for you. Thank you for letting me get book divination and a candle for you. I'm going to let this burn all the way out for you and get that intention out into the universe. Let this offering go. It's going to be so divine, so beautiful, so perfect the way that it comes in for you. And please, please, please do consider checking out my Patreon. It's where all my lifestyle content goes now. I don't put stuff on YouTube anymore. It only goes to Patreon. We do weekly energy readings, which I love. I feel like our community connects so well over those. We also do community nights, which we've been doing a lot of manifestation work, or we did in 2022 together, like a lot of live private events. And I know something coming up in the future. We are planning a community game night. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be so fun. And then I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity. I have huge plans for Divine Authenticity this year. My podcast is actually something that is like at the forefront for me this year. So please make sure you're following it and listening to it, because it's only going to improve this year. And I'm just really excited for all of like the new style of things that is coming. I'm not going to say anything else on that, because I'm one of those people that if I say too much, I like won't follow through. So I'm not going to say any more, other than that I have really big plans for it, and I hope that you'll check it out. And if you would like to support me, please do consider leaving a comment, leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, sending this video to somebody else that you think needs a pick-me-up for 2023. And if you would like to support me in a non-free way, I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below if you would like to send me a gift. All of those things are available to you. I do pour everything back into the channel unless you tell me to do something else with it. Like one time somebody sent me a tip and they were like, girl, go get yourself sushi dinner. What are you doing? And it was like one of the sweetest things anyone had ever done for me. So thank you to that person, by the way. You're so kind. So if you do decide to send me a tip for something like that, just make sure you leave a little message to tell me what to do with it, because otherwise I'm going to pour it right back into the channel. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for letting me show up authentically. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I will talk to you in the next one. I don't know if I already said it, but please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, oh my gosh, my brain, what just happened? Mercury is in the microwave, y'all. When you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. All right, I'll talk to you in the next one.